your name collage, you need to create a new document in Photoshop. So in order for you to do that, you're going to have to go to the top left of Photoshop, go to File, and then scroll down to New. You will go ahead and give it a name. Call it your last name underscore name collage. The width is going to be 12 and then inches, and that part's super important. The height is 6. The resolution is 150. Click create. So this is the document that you're going to be working on. Now, I'm going to show you the way that I want this done. There are other ways of doing it, but I'd like you to kind of get used to certain skill sets, I suppose. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to File and then down to Open, okay? And what we're going to look for is we're going to find our photos. So you need to make sure you find the name collage folder that you put everything into. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my first one. I can click on a few at once if I wanted to, and then go ahead and click open. Now, because this is a collage, what I don't want you guys doing is just taking this single image and then bringing it over and it's just square. I don't want that. What I want you to do is I also want this to be an opportunity to practice the different selection tools. So the selection tools that I'd like you to use would be the lasso tool and then also the quick selection tool. So toggle between them, use whichever one works best for whatever it is you're trying to cut out. But it's pretty basic and pretty simple. All I'm doing is clicking, holding down with my mouse. I'm not worried about a whole lot of accuracy. I'm just trying to get it. I want it to have that kind of cut out look that I might even get if I were doing this, by hand with scissors. Okay, so that's my selection. Anything inside of this will basically go when I move it. So I'm going to grab my move tool now. And all I'm going to do is click and drag and hold it, and I'm going to hover over that, and then I'm still holding onto my mouse, and I'll release it when I get to here. Okay, any photos that you're taking off your phone are going to be absolutely humongous. So first thing you got to do is, if you're on your move tool, make sure you have this show transform controls box checked. And what's that's going to do is it's going to give you this bounding box around it, but I can't even see the edges of it, so I need to zoom out. So Control minus to zoom out. Grab the edge, get this thing shrunk down, and then I can just bring it right in. Okay, if I want to zoom back in, I can. So it's Control minus and Control plus to zoom out and zoom in. Okay, that's my first photo done. All right, I'm going to close this up. And I'm just going to keep working through these photos. I'll just do one more with a different tool just so you can see how it works. Let's find one of the ones I just got. So we'll do that one with my next. Quick selection tool this time. Something that's important, make sure your quick selection tool is not larger than the object that you are selecting. In fact, keep it pretty small. So what I mean by that is I don't want you using a selection tool that's like that large, doesn't make any sense. So you want to keep it fairly small. So I'm just using my bracket keys on my keyboard to adjust the size of it. And I'm just clicking and dragging down. Okay. And just like with the dog, I'm not super concerned with absolute perfection on how these are cut out. Just get close. All right. Move tool, click and drag, drop it into place, maybe adjust the size. Okay, here's what I wanted to talk to you next. So notice how this one is sitting on top of the last photo. Now, if I want to change that, okay, the first thing you got to do is find your layers palette. If that's not open, just go under Window and you can open any palette that's not there. Okay, so the reason why it's sitting on top of the previous layer is because it's sitting on the top here as well. So if I don't like that, I can shuffle the order and move things around. So now it's being tucked underneath that. Okay. With this collage, I really don't want a lot of white space showing. So make sure you're really tucking things in and getting things close together. All right. From this point forward, it's just repetitive. I know some of you are going to try to do quicker ways of doing this. For example, I'm just going to show you this really quick. You might find your file and you might want to just drag it right on there so that it looks like this. Here's why that is not a good idea. What it's doing is it's creating a smart object, okay? So that's something you don't want to work with this way because it'll cause problems later, okay? So one, don't drag and just drop it in there because it's creating something called a smart object. The other thing that I don't want you doing is I don't want to keep all these squares, right? I really want you to cut everything out. Again, I want you to think of this as you're also not just trying to get it done. I want you to learn these tools because we're going to be using them more and more in the future. And if you're bypassing this step, things later on are going to get more difficult, okay? So anyways, do not try, please don't do this method, okay? So I'm just going to delete that and rather go to File and Open. And notice that everything has a shortcut, okay? So Control O will, open that open dialog box. So that way you don't always have to go up to this menu if you choose to not. Okay, that's it for this one.